to start the face.
Okay, yes. We're going to start the face. It's pretty simple. So you want your face to look like this, like a cone. Because their face has a just very angular shape. I've got about an 1.5 inch square of core wool here, and I'm going to make a ghost chin. So I usually just like to stab the center line so that I know that I'm going to fold my my wool over evenly, and then I'm going to stab a little narrow, I'd say 1/4 inch bullet shape or ghost shape. Fold the top back and then pull the sides into that shape as well. It's going to end up being about 1/2 inch by the time you fold all this stuff in. But what we want to do, see, it's like a little bit bigger than my pinky. What we want to do is kind of tug it, stretch it out, make sure that end is nice and rounded. I'm actually stabbing back on itself a little bit. I can even roll it in my hands a little bit. And then if it flares out at a slight angle, that's actually good because that's the way their jawbone would really go. And then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to put the chin even with the end of the nose. She's going to get more nose, which I want to just stick past the chin a little bit. So if I put the chin even with where the end of the nose is now, then she'll have that little bit of an overbite, or that extension beyond the chin.
1 inch to the right.
Yes.
Ooh, centered.
Like that?
Yes. Rather than making people sick trying to move the camera.
Right. Now we need to make a shape to build up the back of the head. So I'm going to use the tan core, and I'm going to pull about a 6-inch piece. That's a little longer than 6 inches. I'm going to split it in half lengthwise and stretch it out. And what I want to create is a 2-inch rectangle on the Zuli tool. Always good to be able to go out and back with this. And on the thin side, out and back should be plenty. And then I'm going to slide that off. I'm going to give it that tug, the same that we did for the butt bone. And I want to center this on top of the head, basically the back half of the head. So if your head's 2 inches long, this is going on the back half inch to start to build up the back half of her head. Then I want to fold it and actually create a little square, kind of like this is her jaw, the corner of her jaw. So it's not a pull and wrap around and felt it all around. I'm creating shape here. You'll see once I have it on, I can show you how square it is. I'm trying to sort of make a square around the back half of her head. You're making me nervous back there, Milo.
Just communicating with everyone. What's happening here?
Okay, so can you see from the front, can you see that? How it looks like a square? What? Is it funny?
Yes.
Just like she's got a little square on her head. Don't worry.
She needs a little help.
It's going to come together. Okay. Her eyes are going to go in this front of the, like if I were to stab it, it would go right kind of at an angle into the front of this pillow. But I need a connector piece here. So with tan, or it doesn't matter if you use tan or off-white, you just want to roll in your hand a little seed. I guess you could do it around a skewer. It'll get a little tight if you do it around a skewer. And it's basically going to make kind of like an eye socket. I'm switching to a single needle so that I can control where I'm stabbing. This is her eye socket. It's her cheekbone, basically. So that just gives you a place to put that eye, and it starts to bring together the square with the nose.
Yeah, looks better.
Yeah, it looks great. It's awkward. Always these awkward times. I should do this where you can see it. With our critters. It's got to look wrong at first to look right. There's a proverb in there somewhere.
Yes. Felter.
This is my hard side because I feel like I need to.
Oh, lean in.
I need to lean in. Yeah.
Make it look
So that
wrong
I
so
can-
it will look right.
Okay, the next piece does help pull it together, and that is the. Well, let's do the eyes first because we're going to make a muzzle next. But if we can get these little eyes in, that'll be helpful. So I'm going to roll the eyes in my fingers too.
Black core.
Black core. I'm shooting for a round. I kind of roll down, then fold the sides in, then roll down, and at the end kind of turn the other way. So it's the size of like a petite pea. It's going to look a little big because she's still going to get, well, it needs to get stabbed in, and then she's going to get brows and things that help enclose the eye. Deer's eyes are positioned to the outside of the head, kind of like a horse.
Ooh, I have a fact about that.
Oh, you do?
I think so.
Did you know that goats' eyes like rotate to keep that horizontal,
That's weird.
like so that they can always see, like when they change their head, their eyeball keeps that level, or I don't know, something weird like that. Kind
It
of.
says deer eyes are on the side of their head, so they have 310-degree vision.
Impressive.
Much more than humans who have 180-degree vision. They also have good night vision. Except for when they're running across the road.
I don't think that's about vision.
No.
I think that's about timing. Awareness.
But yes, it helps them at dawn and dusk when they are most active.
Wow. Okay. If you're working on this at home, in addition to our lovely video tutorial, please have Google Images open with white-tailed deer so that you are looking at, you're not just listening to me, but you're looking at a critter, an image of a critter, and making decisions based on what you see. Because when we work on the faces, this is what I think people like about, part of what people like about needle felting. Every little stab is like a sculptural decision. So, you know, I can tell you where to put this piece and how big to make it, but really refining it, that is your job. So I'm just opening up my images so I can see what I'm doing here. Okay. Now, I want to make a ghost that's going to be her muzzle, her upper lip, I guess, is what we want to say. And,
Yeah, she needs one of those.
yeah, and sometimes when I look at the deer, they go dark to light. Sometimes they are real dark near their nose. How you color this is up to you. I'm going to start with the tawny, the lighter top coat. And I want to make a nice sort of 2.5 inch square, because this is going to be a nice wide ghost that we want to be fairly flat. And then I'm going to put a little bit of acorn towards the top, maybe a little bit of chestnut. And then maybe a little bit of, I've got a medium gray and a dark gray in here. Maybe just a little bit of gray. I don't know, I'm kind of winging it.
So then you laid a little more acorn?
Yeah, a little more acorn just to blend it together. The nose is going to be out here. Could put a little off-white under there. All right, and we're going to flip it over. Put the pretty colors on the bottom. I am actually going to put a little bit of off-white just to lighten that nose tip up as it pokes through. And then I want to draw, well, I'll do the center line. And then I want to draw a nice wide ghost. Bigger than my thumb for sure. Here's the Zuli tool. Kind of like a little wider than the Zuli tool and also a little rounder. Because this has to come down and meet the lower lip on each side.
Doe, a deer, a female. In my head all day yesterday.
Oh boy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I need a punch tool.
Ruh-roh.
Okay. We rolling?
We are rolling.
Okay. Had to get my punch tool. Okay. Now, you may end up pulling some of this off. Just don't need quite all that fuzz. The other thing I do is kind of refuzz these edges, because really the mouth is only right at this front part. The rest of it I want to blend into the face, what's already going on the face. So I've got it positioned a little bit farther out than the tip of the nose so that I can bend it, you know, all around. But I start by tacking it down on the bridge of the nose. Can you see okay?
Yeah, I was just about to move the camera to not bother you, but you're good. You're
okay.
Perfect.
Okay. And then once I've got that tacked down, I can come to the front and start to shape this around. And all this fringe I want to blend, you know, over those cheekbones and around the side here. Wherever it goes. You can always add top coat wherever it doesn't go.
If you push up 1 inch, I zoomed in, and then you can lean over, because
Okay.
I don't think we'll get you.
Okay.
It's amazing how one piece can pull that much together.
I don't usually make corners of the mouth on the deer. They're just too small. So you can fringe this out to lose that line, or you can just lay a little bit of top coat if it needs it. You'll see what I mean. I like to keep the chin white. And then I need to look at a picture to see what's happening with her face here. What I'm really going for. A whole bunch of the end of their face is nose. Trying to find a good. I'm gonna add doe to my Google Images search. Okay.
So if you put in white-tailed deer, you will get
You
stag
get
pictures too.
mostly, yeah, bucks and. Okay. All right. Now, so I'm going to make that black nose just by taking a sort of 1/4 inch wide strip and folding a little pillow about 1/4 of an inch wide. And part of it will come right down. I can't really move up.
It's okay.
Okay. Right down to the lip or the mouth. And then I want to kind of roll the rest of this so that it comes back onto the top of the nose.
A lot of bubble sounds happening.
So they have a pretty nice sharp bridge of their nose here, and sometimes I have made that as another piece if I can't get this quite sharp enough. So I'll show that because I feel like I want this to be a little bit more structured in here. But first I want to make they have off-white around their eyes, so I want to make a brow, and I'm going to use my off-white. I have included in the kit some Serafina white, which is our whitest white. I'm using it really just for the fawn spots. I don't like the way the bright white looks on the dough, so I'm using off-white. You could even blend them together, or you could use the bright white, but I just wanted you to know it was there. And so actually, to make these, I'm going to do the double-decker taco. So I'm going to get 2, sort of trying to keep them 1/4 inch, but they probably stretch out to 1/2. And I stab the center, fold it over, stab a 1/4 inch area, and fold it back. And that gives me that nice rounded edge here and the fringe on the back side. So these will be my brows, my doe's brows. And I'm looking at the picture to see where they go. I mean, I know where they go, but it's an angle kind of thing. So what makes them look doughy is that the black of their eye, the corner of their eye, comes up. I'm just going to do this to show. Comes up quite high. So I don't want the brow to wrap down to the bottom corner. I want it to stay up here. So I'm going to add this to both sides to really get that corner of the eye up. Especially this one, my little seed kind of got turned, and okay. So when I put this on, it can come down a little towards the front corner, but I really want it to stay up here. Ooh, that makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yep. The nose made a big difference too.
Yeah. I feel like this side I'm not getting quite as much the way I want it.
Oh, she looks a little angry right now.
Yeah. Sorry, I just gotta lean in for a second.
You're okay.
I gotta get it.
I'm zoomed enough. I only
Okay.
see your pretty earring.
Okay. Gotta get it right here. Sometimes you gotta look at it from the front.
Yes, you flip them all around.
Okay. So this is all going to get a lot of tightening up. But I do want to make that nose bridge. So basically, it's going to be another, like we did the muzzle, except it's going to be real narrow. And I'm just going to put a variety of colors. I'm just using top coat. I'm not using core because I want it to stay on the narrow side. I'm going to stab the center line. And then I'm really making a very narrow triangle. And I'm flaring it like a bell because I want it to really kind of end up coming over the forehead. So excited for our workout video.
Me too.
We're going to make a little 5-minute video to help everybody stand up and stretch and not get felt fatigue.
Be helpful if I had legs.
Oh, you're going to do just fine. I can't wait to see you in spandex. Oh dear.
Oh,
Oh
dear.
dear.
You know,
Okay.
I'm really quite fond of you.
So this should just kind of blend into the colors that are already there. I might need to lose a seam a little bit. And then it's going to come over these brows and really color the back of the head too. I'm not going to tack the back down until I get the ears on. Well, that's pretty. It needed that. It needed that. And then I think I can get a little tighter under here. This is all a little matter of kind of, like I said, sculpting. A little tighter right here. Alright, they do have white under their eye as well. For that, instead of making a shape, which I feel like adds too much, I'm going to take as little amount of off-white as I can. I'm going to lay it to where the center is under the eye. I'm going to stab it right under the crease of the eye and then fold it over on itself. That way you get a rolled edge under the eye and fringy edge blending into the what? What did I do?
Just the hairdo. It's just funny.
And I can control the bottom of it. I can make it fringe out. I can, you know, make it a really clear line. This eye is getting lost a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit more black. Sometimes that happens. It just sinks in or...
So you just sort of roll a new
just,
one?
Yep, add a little more. Making it a little soft pillow to stick on there and bring it out. Don't like the way it was disappearing in there. It's better. They have this interesting marking on their face. I'm going to use, instead of black, I'm going to use the dark, the darkest gray. It ends up looking kind of black. Sometimes they have it off their nose, just depending on the pictures that you look at. But they have this black line at the corner of their mouth coming around their chin a little bit. I need to stab that chin up onto itself some more. So I'm just stabbing a little bit of this dark gray to make that marking.
This face is coming together nicely.
Yeah. So I'm going to put a little bit of off-white around the nose. I feel like that'll look good. kind of hard to work right into that ghost shape, but I can add it now. And then just a little bit on the other side. Depending on what your pictures look like, you know, there's a lot of little colors and accents and things you can do here, but I feel like we got it pretty well done. It's hard to understand exactly what's happening with their nose. I think there's actually like another that's pretty good. That's pretty good. For this scale, this is detailed enough, really. Okay, for the ears, I've done a couple of different ways.
They have some big ears.
The best thing to do is to fold it in like a ghost, like out of the top coat. So I can do some tawny. So get a little acorn on there. A little bit of chestnut as it gets towards the end, towards the top. I'm not using any core because this one needs a little bit more. I got a little too thin on the tawny there. Because it'll get too fat. They really have broad, thin ears. And then some medium gray. And maybe some even go dark on the tip. Looks kind of cool.
If you hear that bubbling, that is Marcia washing and dyeing locks.
I'm just putting a really thin glaze of the chestnut over everything to kind of bring it together. Okay, and then you're going to flip that over. So it's on the thin side, but it's got to be consistent. You know, it's got to be a nice, consistent. If it doesn't feel consistent, put like just another thin layer of tawny just to make sure it's nice and even. And then we want to stab basically a big, the Zuli tool is a good guide here. You want it, well, let's do a center line. Line that tip up, and then you want a nice wide house shape. And then you're going to fold in along that shape and let all the fringe just overlap so that it gives structure to the ear. And then give it a lift once you have it shaped and before you hit it with the punch tool.
That's like exactly the Zuli tool size.
Yeah. Yeah, it ends up a little wider, but it's a good guideline. And then I kind of think about if this is going to be her right ear, looking at her on the left, this line will be a little smoother, but this angle right here will be on the sharper side. And I can kind of encourage that. See how I smooth that out and made that sharper. Your kit has a little bit of fair in it, and that is simply has plenty to put some pink in the ears. What?
It has enough to do about
It has enough to do
100 deer ears.
Yeah. We can't put like a teeny tiny amount.
No, but someone could probably use what's left with this to make a few sleepy mice.
Yes. A couple gnome noses. Okay, let me go ahead and do the other one so you can see it again. So got everything lined up. Stab a center line. I think the dogs are going to bark. Oh, I really try not to stab my Zuli tool. That pains me. Look how pretty it looks.
Yeah.
You're
Buttered it?
You're like, stop talking about your pretty Zuli tool already. I did butter it.
At least there's not a shortage currently, because you'd have people like, okay, so glad yours is pretty.
All right,
so
now
for those of us who have a problem with,
left and right.
but yeah, bush positioning in general, how would you decide this is the other ear and what do I need to do with it?
Well, I point it that way.
Okay,
And
see, no,
then-
but you're laughing, but some of us need.
And then I make this bottom angle sharper than the top one.
So you're pointing it, see? That I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. And I can put my flesh tone in it. Then if you want, you can trim it too, and that kind of loses the rolled edge look as well. You could also put, sometimes they have a little bit of, we'll go ahead and do this little step, a little bit of fluff at the top. So I'm taking a really small amount of the off-white core and I'm laying it, the fibers going up and down, and I'm going to stab that in the center. Back and forth, and then just let it kind of be fuzzy. And embedded. So this is where, so if I give my ear some pucker, let me look at my picture. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah. Give my ear some pucker. I can trim this. Like if I didn't get that angle quite enough, I can kind of trim that to make that a little stronger. But I think it's pretty good shape. So I am going to stab that pucker in before I put it on, just to help it. Depending on the animal, sometimes I stab it together and sometimes I just, tack it on in place. So I have to get my off-white into this one.
I have no facts about deer's ears.
Deer's ears?
You would think they hear quite well.
Yeah. I think so.
You make any movement and they run.
Yeah, I saw a beautiful doe last night taking Max and Evan to scouts down at Fair Hill. Yeah. So pretty, right on the edge of the woods. Okay, so you fringe this, kind of flare this out, and I go right on the back of the head. They sometimes, I'd say they angle at like 45 degrees, so not quite to the side and not quite straight up. I'm going to take some of this, I don't want my ear to look like it's on top of my eye, so I'm going to take some of this fringe from the bridge of the nose piece and give some distance on the side of the head between my ear and my eye. Okay.
Oh, she's pretty.
Yeah, she is pretty. I never get my ears the same on each side. Like,
That's pretty close.
I don't know what happens. I love when you make these pieces like the bridge of the nose and the muzzle ghost. It just gives you this kind of natural color changes that you're not controlling so much, that you're not trying to control so much.
So they look even more natural.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, she's pretty.
She's very pretty.
So another real doe characteristic is their eyelashes. And your kit has black top coat. It's the smooth, long fiber. So I'm just going to pull a piece. I'm actually going to cut it in half because you just do not need to work with quite so much. And restack it. And this will do, I think this will do both. I need a, just want a little bit more before I split it in half here. So I like to restack it so that I'm kind of know I'm working with. Then I can split this in half, and then I know I'm working with the same amount of fiber on each eye. So it's going to be about a 1/4 inch strip, little solid 1/4 inch strip. And actually, before I put that on there, I'm going to prepare 2 little black core wool noodles. Just roll them in my fingers. Okay. I center the black onto the top of the eye, and then I really just want to stab into that top crease. And then I can pick up one of my noodles and stab that across. And this can also, the noodle can also kind of give you that cat eye, you know, angling that back corner out a little bit. I feel like I need a stronger needle. So I'm really stabbing that down. Then I take the bottom up and stab it together so that they don't look like they have a split in the middle. Although the camels, you kind of want to do that. I think we should do a camel.
Oh.
Okay. Let's do the other one.
A little much.
Yeah.
A little much.
I gotta lean in. With my head in there.
Let me super zoom and see how much you can lean in. There you go, lean away.
Okay.
Ooh, that's close.
I never get this one. My animals' right sides are never as good as their left. Where are you coming from, fiber? There we go. Alrighty.
Oh yeah,
We got lashes. So now I'm going to trim them. So I like to just to go a little bit wider as I go back. So a little bit closer towards the front corner of the eye. I know, a little bit much. I still need to stab that together here. And I can get rid of some of her. I might lose this. I don't know, it still looks a little separated. Maybe just more stabbing will get it.
She's pretty.
Yeah. You need a white dot. Can I do a white dot real quick?
Oh, yeah. You can do
So
whatever
this-
you want. You're in charge.
This I use the that pure white. That bright white. And just a teeny tiny bit I roll it in my fingers, and then I put it back and high. Whoops. Get out of there, eyelash. Switch to a 40 because it was taking the eye in too much. Probably should have done that before the lashes, but it's okay. I got a few stragglers that I want to trim. There we go. Alright, I like to put, they have a little white under their necks here, and I can use, I'll show you how it looks to blend the off-white and the white. Just took a little bit of each, and I'm restacking it. And then I'm going to do a little fold, kind of tucked thing, stabbing the center up under her jawline. And then just let that come down in like a little neck beard. And then we're going to put Pelt over the neck. So I can actually just even put her like this. Take some tawny, take some acorn, and a little bit of chestnut. And just get that going on the back of the neck. And then bring it around. And I leave that white that I put on and then I can look at the front and decide how I want it to come together here. Kind of like that. I'll probably fuss with that a little bit more. We need to get her little white tail thing going on here. And I do like to blend the off-white and white together for that as well. So I'm going to take a section and go across her bum, kind of just across this. Oops, I don't need quite that much. And just let the fringe go off each side. What does the white tail do for them, Milo? Is it like a warning sign?
I don't know. I will look it
Like
up.
a flash?
I can look it up.
And then I also want to go across the back of the tail with this blend. I'm just going to let the fringe stick off the sides. This is nice light we have here today.
Yes, it looks
No
good.
direct sunlight, so it's like... Okay. Then I can put a little bit of top coat across the back of the tail.
So adult white-tailed deer have reddish-brown coats in the summer, but it does fade to a duller grayish-brown in the winter.
Huh.
As you make the pelt.
Yeah, I guess mine's a summer deer. Might trim this top coat a little bit.
It displays the white tail underside of the tail when it senses danger. But I don't know if it's like a warning to the other deer nearby.
That's kind of what I thought. Alright. Okay. So I'm going to make a pelt. Just the easiest way to get all this color on here. Move my needles out of the way. All my fuzz. And I'm going to use a little bit of core just to help stabilize it. It's going to be about the size of my palm. And I want it to be a little wider as it comes back. Because I just don't need it quite as wide on the shoulders as I do on the bum. Okay, and then I'm going to put some tawny on the edges.
The tail's actions are a very visible, clear, and direct indication of the animal's intentions.
Yeah, yeah.
Casual, gentle, and side-to-side wagging or swishing is a good sign.
Horses are the same way.
Occasional twitches are no cause for alarm.
Now I'm putting some acorn across the center. So just have tawny on the edges, acorn down the middle, and then I'm going to put a thin layer of chestnut. Just get it real thin and even. The chestnut is almost like a glaze of color. Like I'm still letting the acorn show through, but I want that. Can you see how thin I'm pulling this?
Yes, you
Okay.
can see just wispy fibers.
Yeah.
It does warn other animals. This website is all about when you're a hunter, how to read the tail
Oh wow.
to decide what to do.
You're getting ready to get got.
Yes.
Get the tables flipped on you.
Okay, here we go. The tail warns other deer that danger is near. Does do this more than bucks. It also tells predators that further pursuit is useless.
Do the predators believe them?
That's like the deer version of talk to the hand.
Yeah.
Talk to my white tail.
Further pursuit is useless. I need something like that. It's funny. Women need something like that when they're out.
That's the hand. Talk to the hand. 'Cause
Further-
the ears aren't listening.
Cease and desist. Further pursuit is useless. Okay. Got it sort of sticking together. Enough to lift up and put in place here.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Spread her all out. So I start down the back. And then putting a pelt on is kind of just quite a bit of stabbing. Get it centered and anchored here. Then I can turn her to the side.
So you leave the belly in the core?
I do. I'm just leaving the belly off-white. If you wanted to mix white and off-white and go across the belly with some fiber, you could do that. And what you want is for your pelt just to blend into all the coloring that we put on the legs. And this one does nicely.
Yeah, you're doing a good job here.
Thank you. So funny. Sometimes they end up a little off, but this one's pretty well centered and evenly colored. So it's just a lot of stabbing. Just kind of getting everything in place. And I'll probably try to get rid of these seams a little bit on the neck and shoulders. But that's it. You can stab on your own time.